This sign tells a driver that A construction flagger is ahead. B. A police officer is ahead. C. A parking attendant is ahead. A construction flagger is ahead. This sign warns that there is a flag person ahead. Always follow directions given by a flagger. Flaggers normally wear orange or yellow vests, yellow-green shirts, or bright jackets. They use paddles and red flags to direct traffic through the work zone and to let workers or construction vehicles cross the road. When driving in fog, it is best to drive with A. High beam headlights. B. Low beam headlights. C. Four-way flashers. B. Low beam headlights. Use low beam headlights when driving in fog, rain, or snow. High beams may reflect off of the weather and make visibility even poorer. Handicap parking spaces are available. A. Only to drivers with the appropriate license plate or hanging tag. B. To anyone, but only if all other spaces are occupied. C. To people who are not feeling well. A. Only to drivers with the appropriate license plate or hanging tag. Marked handicap parking spaces should be used only by persons with disabilities as defined under state law. In order to park in a handicap parking space, you must have either the appropriate license plate with the international symbol or the designated hanging tag. This road sign means A. Drive with caution and be ready to stop. B. You must come to a complete stop. C. Stop, if necessary. B. You must come to a complete stop. The stop sign is the only 8-sided sign you will see on any roadway. When you encounter a stop sign, you must come to a complete stop. You may not proceed until the way is clear for you to completely and safely pass through the intersection.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
Which of these statements is true about large trucks? A. They take longer to stop than passenger vehicles. B. They all have air brakes that allow them to stop quickly. C. They are more maneuverable than passenger vehicles. A. They take longer to stop than passenger vehicles. Large trucks take longer to stop than other vehicles traveling at the same speed. The average passenger vehicle traveling at 55 miles per hour can stop within 400 feet. However, a large truck traveling at the same speed can take almost 800 feet to stop. If weather conditions are poor, drivers should A. Increase their speed. B. Decrease their speed. C. Maintain their normal speed. B. Decrease their speed. Drivers should decrease their speed when driving under unfavorable weather conditions. The posted speed limits are intended only for the most ideal conditions. If you must park your vehicle in an area not usually used for parking. A. Park with your reverse lights on. B. Make sure your vehicle is visible to drivers approaching from any direction. C. Park 5 feet from the curb. B. Make sure your vehicle is visible to drivers approaching from any direction. Drivers are responsible for making sure their vehicles do not become hazards after they have been parked. Wherever you park, make sure your car is visible to drivers approaching from any direction. This sign is A. Yield sign. B. School crossing sign. C. Stop sign. A. Yield sign. A downward-facing triangular sign is always a yield sign. Drivers must be prepared to slow down or stop when approaching a yield sign. A diamond-shaped sign means A. Yield. B. Stop. C. Warning. C. Warning. Diamond-shaped signs are used to warn drivers of special conditions or hazards ahead. They are typically yellow or orange in color. When should drivers yield the right-of-way to pedestrians in a crosswalk? A. Only if the pedestrians first wave to the driver. B. Only if the pedestrians are not texting while walking. C. At all times. C. At all times. Bring your vehicle to a complete stop at a crosswalk to yield the right-of-way to any vehicle or pedestrian already in the intersection. You may carefully proceed if your lane is completely clear. When passing another car, you have enough space to return to the driving lane. A. If the other driver signals for you to re-enter the lane. B. If you look over your shoulder and see the passed car behind you. C. If you can see both of the passed vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. C. If you can see both of the passed vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. Before you return to the driving lane when completing a pass, be sure there is a safe gap between your vehicle and the passed vehicle. When you can see both headlights of the vehicle in your rearview mirror, it is safe to return to the driving lane. This sign means A. Do not enter. B. Yield the right-of-way. C. Reserved parking for persons with disabilities. A. Do not enter. This sign is posted on one-way streets and other roadways where a driver is not allowed to enter. A driver may see this sign if attempting to enter an expressway ramp in the wrong direction. You should increase the distance between your vehicle and the vehicle ahead when you A. Are following a small passenger vehicle. B. Are being tailgated by another driver. C. Are driving more slowly than the posted speed limit. B. Are being tailgated by another driver. When being tailgated, create extra space in front of your vehicle and do not brake suddenly. Slow down gradually or merge into another lane to prevent a collision with the tailgater. This sign is used to warn drivers that A. The right lane is ending and traffic should merge left. B. The road curves ahead. C. There are upcoming intersections. A. The right lane is ending and traffic should merge left. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. This sign warns drivers that the number of lanes is reduced ahead and that traffic should merge left. This sign means A. Crossroad ahead. B. Merge. C. Stop. A. Crossroad ahead. This sign indicates that there is a crossroad ahead. A school bus has stopped ahead of you in your lane with its red lights flashing. You should A. Stop and proceed when you think all of the children have exited the bus. B. Slow to 25 miles per hour and pass cautiously. C. Stop for as long as the red lights are flashing. C. Stop for as long as the red lights are flashing. When a stopped school bus is using its flashing red lights, approaching drivers must stop and remain stopped until the lights stop flashing. If the school bus is on the opposite side of a divided highway, drivers do not need to stop. Blind spots are A. Spots in your vision when you become fatigued. B. Areas of the road that cannot be seen in a vehicle's mirrors. C. Traffic control devices. B. Areas of the road that cannot be seen in a vehicle's mirrors. When changing lanes, look over your shoulder in the direction you plan to move. Check for obstructions near the rear corners of your vehicle. These areas are called blind spots because you cannot see them by using your mirrors. Changing from one lane to another is best done. A. Quickly and often. B. When a car is in your blind spot. C. Gradually and carefully. C. Gradually and carefully. You should always change lanes gradually and carefully. Only change lanes when necessary. Every lane change increases the possibility of a traffic accident. Always stop before crossing railroad tracks when A. There isn't room on the other side for you to completely cross the tracks. B. The railroad crossing is located in a city or town that has frequent train traffic. C. You are transporting 2 or more young children in a passenger vehicle. A. There isn't room on the other side for you to completely cross the tracks. Expect a train on any track, at any time, traveling in either direction. If you need to stop after crossing the tracks, wait until you can completely cross the tracks before proceeding. Make sure your vehicle clears the tracks before you stop. When changing lanes, you should never A. Cross the centerline in an intersection. B. Check your blind spots by looking over your left or right shoulder. C. Check for other drivers moving into the same lane. A. Cross the centerline in an intersection. Before changing lanes, check for drivers trying to pass you who may be trying to enter the same lane as you. Look over your shoulder to check your blind spot. You should never attempt to pass or otherwise change lanes in an intersection. A solid yellow arrow on a traffic signal means A. You should speed up so you can make the turn before the light changes. B. You do not need to signal to turn from the indicated lane. C. You should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic. C. You should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic. A solid yellow arrow means that the protection of a green arrow is ending. If you are turning in the direction of the arrow, you should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic before turning. When driving in fog, you should A. Use your high beam headlights. B. Use your parking lights. C. Use your low beam headlights. C. Use your low beam headlights. Drivers should use low beam headlights when driving in fog. High beams will reflect back at the driver, making it difficult to see. A distraction when driving is A. Anything that causes evasive action while driving. B. Anything that takes your attention away from driving. C. Anything that causes you to pay more attention to driving. B. Anything that takes your attention away from driving. A distraction when driving is anything that takes your attention away from driving. Driver distractions may occur anytime and anywhere. Distracted driving can cause collisions, resulting in property damage, injury, and death. Various traffic control devices in construction and maintenance work areas are the color: A. Red. B. Orange. C. Yellow. B. Orange. Orange warning signs are used in and around work zones. Use special caution when you see orange signs, cones, or barriers on a roadway. This road sign means: A. Steep grade ahead. B. The road ahead winds with a series of turns or curves. C. Slippery when wet. C. Slippery when wet. Warning signs provide notice to road users of a situation that might not be readily apparent and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers to be careful when driving under wet conditions, as the pavement will become slippery and more difficult to navigate safely. Extra space in front of a large truck is needed for: A. Other drivers to merge onto the freeway. B. The truck driver to stop the vehicle. C. Other drivers when they want to slow down. B. The truck driver to stop the vehicle. Because they are larger, trucks take longer to stop than cars traveling at the same speed. Other drivers should not pull in front of a truck and then slow down or stop. When you see this yellow sign, you should: A. Always stop at the crosswalk. B. Stop at the crosswalk until a crossing guard signals for you to go. C. Be prepared to stop if children are in the crosswalk. C. Be prepared to stop if children are in the crosswalk. A five-sided sign indicates that you are near a school. Be aware and stop if children are in the crosswalk. Excessive speed. A. Saves time so you can get to your destination more quickly. B. Helps you maneuver around obstacles. C. Increases the likelihood of serious bodily injury and death. C. Increases the likelihood of serious bodily injury and death. Excessive speed is one of the most common contributing factors to vehicle crashes. Excessive speed does not save time and often leads to high-risk decision-making. This road sign means: A. Slow down or stop. B. Stop if necessary. C. You must come to a complete stop. C. You must come to a complete stop. An octagonal sign always means stop. When approaching a stop sign, you must come to a complete stop at the marked stop line and proceed only when it is safe to do so. If there is no stop line, stop before the crosswalk. If there is no crosswalk, stop before the intersection at a point from which you can see oncoming traffic. This sign indicates A. Railroad crossing. B. Pedestrian crossing. C. No passing zone. A. Railroad crossing. Yellow signs with black markings are used to warn drivers about upcoming hazards or special conditions. Round signs are used only to warn about upcoming railroad crossings.